Make cookies with me while I tell you guys about every single job I've had. Starting at the age of 11 years old. 11 through 14 years old, I would dress up as characters at kids' birthday parties and events. So I was Olaf the Snowman, Minions from Despicable Me. I would dress up in these costumes. Some kids try to punch my head off as Olaf. So I was getting beat down by some little kids. Moving on to 14 and 15 years old. I worked at the Renaissance Festival. Renaissance Festival brings in some type of people. Not all, because I love the Renaissance Festival. So my job there was to sell little clay horns. My little 14, 15-year-old self would have creepy old men come up to me and ask me some words that had the word porn in it. I'm gonna keep it PG. So after that happened multiple times, I got moved to the main shop so people keep an eye on me. Age 16, I worked at one of my favorite places that I've ever worked, a nursing center. I was a CNA. I loved it so much. I played puzzles with the old people. I also loved hearing all their stories because they're like in their 80s and 90s. The only thing I didn't like about that job is how the residents were treated. And unfortunately, that's how it is in most nursing centers. I did not like that. Moving on to 17, I had 2 jobs at once. I had 2 jobs because I found out that millionaires had multiple sources of income, so I kept that mentality in my head. I worked as a lifeguard in the morning time, and then after school, I worked at McDonald's. So on school nights, I don't know how I did this during the school week. I wake up at 3 a.m., go clock in at 3:30 a.m., open up the pool, be a lifeguard until 8 a.m., go to classes at 8:30 a.m., finish up my school day, go to track practice, and then from track practice, I would go and work at McDonald's. I wouldn't do this every day, I did it every other day, and then the days in between, I would do one or the other. And then for like 3 weeks, I worked at an ice cream shop, but I quit after 3 weeks because the owner cussed at me over the phone and called me very mean words. I don't really care, but over ice cream, you need to take it back a notch. I knew my red flag should have been the day I applied was the day I started because he lost his whole team. All right, we're still in high school. Next job was my first restaurant job. I worked at an Asian restaurant as a prep cook. I did end up almost slicing the tip of my finger off and then passing out right after that. Went to the urgent care across the street, ended up patching me up, making sure I was all good. Told me to just go home and not finish work. But I said I got money to make. So I went back and worked for 6 more hours. We're still in high school. We're at COVID times now. Everything closed down, so Antoine, me and my mom, we get a temporary job at Aldi's warehouse. So I work at a warehouse for about 2 weeks. Did not like that because it was very cold. But that was only like a 2-week contract, and then we moved to Walmart. Peak of COVID times, March 2020. I'm a senior. Second day on the job at Walmart, I get cussed out by this customer because I didn't know where the bleach was, because it wasn't the Walmart I went to. I was working 45-hour weeks while I was still in high school. My senior year, I was actually failing my classes, but one of my teachers, she made my grades go up, so thank you to her. I'm done Walmart, they're starting to open stuff up slowly. I graduated at this point. I get a job working at a restaurant inside of an amusement park. I have plenty of stories, but we're just gonna do the one main story there. A pregnant woman tried to fight me because I wouldn't give her free food 30 minutes after we closed. I did give them free drinks. See, I didn't even have to do that. But I said, I'm not fighting you because you're pregnant, and because I said that, her boyfriend tried to fight me and he ended up chasing me. So this grown man is chasing me around the facility, never catches me. So that was fun. Cops did nothing about it, workplace did nothing about it, but it's a good story. After that job, I ended up going to another job, working as a line cook there. I was the only girl line cook. I was 19 years old, working with 30-year-old single men. Many stories from that place, but one story was one of our servers got jumped, like in the back of the alley. So me being the only one to help, which is very ironic, being the only girl, I run down to help him while he's getting jumped, and then I'm getting screamed at to get back to work while his employee's getting jumped. Went back to work covered in someone else's blood. That was fun. After that restaurant, I went to another restaurant. I was another line cook, but I wasn't the only girl. This was my favorite job. Like half the line were girls. I only left because I moved. I did end up slicing this open because I was being dumb. It's still numb to the touch. And now I get to be my own boss, and I love it. These are brownie cookies, by the way. Nice and fudgy.